Welcome everyone to the next video. And if you remember in the first one, we talked about the effective interest rate or effective annual rate and why this is such an important metric because this gives you a much more clear view of what is the actual, right? And hence the name, the actual interest rate or effective interest rate, right? And this is just a quick recap of the problem that we tried to solve. If you remember, we had two different investment options. Option A with the monthly compounding, option B with the semi-annual compounding, and we figured out that the option A is really the way to go forward because the higher number of compoundings really mean that the effective rate is going to be significantly better, even though the nominal interest on A is slightly lower than the nominal interest on investment B, right? So this was just a quick recap. Right, so let's keep going forward. This is a quiz for you, right? And let me just talk about what this quiz has, right? Or this small problem has. So we have an investment which is going to give you 15% nominal rate. Now there are different time periods of compounding. So what will be the rate if it is compounding annually? What will be the rate if it is compounding semi-annually, quarterly, monthly, and daily, right? And there are different interest terms, which if you do the math, you'll be able to quickly match. So you have to really figure out what to match with what, right? This is what you should be trying to do and see whether you are able to quickly generate this answer. Should not take you more than a couple of minutes. And you can leverage the same FinCal package that we have talked about in R earlier, right? Cool. Let's keep going forward. Okay, here's another problem for you. And as I mentioned at the very beginning, we will be working via the caselets to really make sure that you don't think that these are just hypothetical problems, but these are quite real problems that we try to solve on a day-to-day basis, right? So the case 2 is that if you invest $1 million, if you invest $1 million today, right? And this investment is going to give you 10% return per year. What will be the value of money 5 years from now, right? Again, the problem is you have $1 million that you want to invest. The annual return that you're going to get is 10%. And we want to find out what is going to be the value of this money 5 years down the road, right? Okay, so what do you think this is? We are looking into the future, right? So the concept is nothing but the future value of money. And I have the link over here in case if you want to check it out. So there's a good article in Wikipedia that you can go through in terms of what is the future value of the money. But the concept boils down to, folks, very simply speaking, that the money that is worth $100 now, if you take this $100 bill that you have and keep it under your pillow and then remove it after 5 years, this $100 is not going to be worth $100. This $100 is going to be worth less than $100. Now, how much less? It depends on a variety of different factors, particularly the inflation and so on and so forth, right? So the purchasing power of this $100 will go down as the time passes. And as I mentioned earlier, predominantly driven by the inflation, the discounting and other factors, right? It will be worth less than $100 in most cases. So that's where the future value of money comes in, that whatever it is worth now, the same $100 will be worth significantly less, right? So how do we really work the math in R? The formula that we use is very simple. It's the future value dot simple, the interest rate that you're getting, and the tenure that you have, and obviously we'll be doing the live example in a short while. So this is the actual interest rate that you're getting, this is the tenure, and this is the amount that you have invested now, right? The amount that you have invested is about $1 million. Actually, it's exactly $1 million, And the negative is basically that is the money going out. The sign indicates that you're investing this right now, and the actual future value of this money will be 1.6 million. If you did a simple compounding, you will not get the same answer. In this case, you are getting a much more realistic view of what exactly is going to be the future value of this money. So the same asset will be worth 1.6 million dollars 5 years from now. That is the main concept. Okay. Now I will do that in R, but let me also give you this quiz that you should work on, and it's gonna leverage the same thought process that we just talked about. Fund A gives you 13% annual return if invested for a period of 5 years. Fund B is gonna give you 11% annual return for the same time period, again 5 years. If John invested $1 million in Fund A and Jane invested the same amount for the same time period in Fund B, who will have higher amount of money in terms of the future value of the money, right? So that's the quiz for you. You can spend some time going through it. So you need to tell me who is going to have more money, future value of the money, Jane or John, right? I don't know. You tell me. And then what is going to be that difference that either John or Jane will be earning higher? So that's the quiz based on this problem. Now, before I forget, let me just quickly show you the math for the second case as well. And this is very, very simple. I mean, as I showed earlier, you say future value dot simple, the interest rate, the period, the amount that you're investing, and then simply run the code, which comes out to be 1.6 million, which I have stated in the presentation. So this covers the caselet 2. Thank you, and I will meet you for the caselet 3 in the next video. Thanks.